Magandang araw sa inyo. So, we are here again for another session of discussion in mathematics. But for this session, I'll be concentrating with common monomial factor. By the way, I am Mr. Jonathan P. Roman, a Mathematics 8 teacher from Ilaya Barangka Integrated School. Pero bago tayo dumiretso dun sa ating highlight of the topic or the topic that we're going to discuss for this session, which is common monomial factor, define muna natin ano ba ibig sabihin ng factoring. So mathematically, factoring is the reverse process of getting the product. So kung in multiplying polynomials, we are asked to get the product, but in factoring, given na yung product, kailangan nating malaman yung mga factors niya. Yung mga factors niya, ito yung mga ginagamit natin mga expressions, mga numbers to get the product. Ito yung mga minumultiply natin. Now, to factor a polynomial means to express the algebraic expressions as the product of two or more expressions. When a factor is contained in every term of an algebraic expression, it is called common factor or common monomial factor. At the first place, paano ba natin nalalaman, paano natin natutukoy yung common monomial factor sa isang given polynomial? Yan ang aalamin natin mamaya. Okay, so paano ba mag-factor ng polynomials given the concept of common monomial factor? So let's have the first example. The instruction is factor the following polynomials completely. Our first example is 15x squared plus 10xy. So paano ba natin inuumpisahan? Paano natin pina-factor ang polynomial? Using the concept of common monomial factor. So, unang prosesong gagawin natin is, hahanapin natin ang prime factors nung mga expressions na involved sa polynomial na ito. Kukuhanin natin ang prime factor si 15x squared. Kukuhanin natin ang prime factor si 10xy. So, maraming paraan paano magamit ang makuha ang prime factors ng isang given expression. Pwede kang gumamit ng factor 3, or yung division process. So, unahin natin kuhanin ang prime factors si 15x squared. So, having prime factors, ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga factors na gagamitin natin dito ay puro prime. Okay? So, for the first expression, ito po ay 3 times 5 times x times x. So, 3 and 5 are both prime numbers. So, 3 times 5 yan ay 15. Yan po yung prime factors si 15. Ang x squared naman, ibig sabihin, x raised to the second power, twice natin imumultiply si x. So, kaya x times x. So, ito po yung prime factor si 15x squared. Next naman is yung prime factor si 10xy. That is 2 times 5 times x times y. So, yung 10, inisip lang natin, ano ba yung mga prime numbers na once multiply natin, lalabas ay 10. So, that is 2 times 5. So, times x times y. Basically, xy is just the same as x times y. Yun po yung pinagmulan niya. So, ano ngayon pag nakuha na natin yung prime factors ng mga expression na involved dun sa ating polynomial? Ang next natin gagawin, ima-mark natin as 1 yung mga common factors between 15x squared and 10xy. Ano po ibig kong sabihin? So, si 5 I will be taken as 1 and then x will be taken as 1. Ngayon, lahat po na nakuha natin common factors, yun po ang i-multiply natin siya, and yun po ang ating magiging GCF. So, 5 times x, we have a GCF or a greatest common factor of 5x. Okay? So, yan po yung ating greatest common factor as 5x. Ngayon, ano ang magiging sunod na proseso after nating makuha ang greatest common factor? Ang next nating gagawin, babalikan natin lahat ng mga expression na involved dito sa polynomial na ito. Dalawa lang naman yon. We have 15x squared and then 10xy. Ano po ang gagawin natin sa mga expression na ito in relation to our GCF? So, ang gagawin po natin, bawat isang expression ay i-divide sa kung ano ang nakuha nating GCF, which is 5x. So, we will have 15x squared, i-divide natin siya kay 5x. Ayan. So, mangyayari nito, 15 divided by 5 and then x squared divided by x. The result is 3x. Paano nangyari yon? 15 divided by 5, that is 3. X squared divided by x, we all know in laws of exponent na kapag same ang base, tapos tayo ay nagde-divide, we tend to subtract the exponent. So we have here 2 minus 1, kaya mayroon kang x raised to 1 dito. Or basically, that is 3x. Yung prosesong ginawa natin dito ay yun din ang prosesong susundin kay 10xy. So we have here 10xy. I-divide natin siya sa kung ano ang nakuha nating GCF. So divided by 5x. That's basically 10 divided by 5, xy divided by x. That is 10 divided by 5, that is equal to 2. Kinancel natin yung x kasi common factor yon. Kinakancel natin siya as we divide, kung same lang naman na term. And then, we've just copy y. Kasi wala naman pwedeng i-divide kay y dito. So, 2y ang sagot po natin. Ngayon, ano ang next after nating i-divide yung mga expressions sa kanilang GCF? So, our answer, therefore, will be 15x squared plus 10xy is equal to the GCF, which is 5x, multiplied sa kung ano yung naging quotient kanina. So, 5x, quantity 3x, plus 2y. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nito, itong polynomial na ito, ang kanyang factors ay 5x multiplied to 3x plus 2y. Actually, madali nating mati-check kung tama yung sagot natin. Pag si 5x times 3x, that is 15x squared. 5x times 2y, that is 10xy. So, ibig sabihin, tama ang nakuha nating factors para sa polynomial na ito. So, yan ang una nating example for factoring polynomials using the concept of common monomial factor. Now, let's move on to example number 2. So, our example number 2 is we need to factor completely 24a squared plus 16a. So, the process na ginawa natin kanina sa first example ay same process ang i-apply natin for example number 2. So, kung natatandaan nyo sa ginawa natin kanina, kukuhanin natin ang mga prime factors ng mga expressions na involved sa polynomial na ipapactor natin. So, kukuhanin natin ang prime factors sa 24a squared. Kukuhanin din natin ang prime factors sa 16a. So, let's go back to getting the prime factors sa 24a squared. So, ang prime factor sa 24a square ay 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. O, pwede kang gumamit dyan ng factor 3. Mga prime numbers yan. So, pag binultiply mo yung apat na yan, that will give you 24. Times a. Basically, a square meaning we need to multiply a twice. O, the exponent will tell you how many times you are going to multiply the base. Kaya, dalawang a yan. So, ito na po yung prime factors nung 24a square. Yun din ang prosesong susundin natin sa pagkuha ng prime factors sa 16a. So, we have here 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So, lahat po yan ay prime numbers. O, prime numbers si 2. Pag binultiply mo yan, 16 ang lalabas. Times a. So, after nating makuha ang mga prime factors to mga expression na involved sa polynomial na ito, the next thing that we need to do is i-mark natin lahat ng mga common factors sa bawat expression na kinuhanan natin ng prime factors. And we will mark them as 1. So, ano-ano po yun? Ito. Ito. Yan. At ito. Lahat ng nakuha nating common factors na yan, lahat ng minarkahan nating common factors, we will take them as 1 value. So, isang 2, isang 2, isang 2, isang a. Multiply po yung lahat. So, 2 times 2 times 2 times a, our GCF now is 8a. Because 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times a is 8a. So, nakuha na natin yung greatest common factor o yung common monomial factor ng polynomial na ito. Ano ang next natin gagawin? Kung natandaan ang prosesong ginawa natin kanina sa unang halimbawa, babalikan natin yung mga expression na involved sa polynomial na ito. At yung bawat expression na yan ay i-divide sa kung ano ang nakuha nating GCF. I-detalye natin para mas malinaw. So, ang unang expression na involved sa polynomial na ito ay 24a squared. I-divide yan sa kung ano ang nakuha nating GCF, which is 8a. So, basically, it means 24 divided by 8 and then a squared divided by a. And that will give us 3a. How did we come up with an answer of 3a? So 24 divided by 8, that's 3. And then a squared divided by a, since same base yan, at nagdi-divide tayo, sinubtract natin ang exponent. So 2 minus 1, meron tayong isang a. Kaya ang sagot dito, nung dinivide natin si 24a squared kay 8a, ay 3a. Yun din ang proseso na gagawin natin kay 16a. So 16a, i-divide sa kung ano ang nakuha nating GCF. And that is 8a. So basically, that is 16 divided by 8 and then a divided by a. So that will give us 2. Bakit po? 16 divided by 8, that's 2. Dahil same term lang naman si a over a, kinansela natin yon. Kaya 2 ang naging sagot natin dito. So kanina nakuha na natin yung GCF. Na i-divide na natin yung bawat expression sa kung ano ang GCF. Ano ang next natin gagawin? Isusulat na natin yung complete factored form natin. Therefore, our answer now is 24a squared plus 16a equals the GCF na 8a multiplied to 3a plus 2. Lumalabas ang factors ni 24a squared plus 16a. Pag pinactor natin yan ay 8a quantity 3a plus 2. So yan po ang ating example number 2. Okay, so let's move on to our last example. So we need to factor completely 36x squared y plus 45xy squared minus 27xy using the concept of common monomial factor. So if we are going to review or to recall the things that we apply or the steps that we did on the first and the second example, it also be the same process that we are going to do in example number 3. And the first step or the first process that we did on the first and the second example a while ago is to get the prime factors of the expressions involved in the polynomial or in the given polynomial na ipapactor natin. Now, looking in example number 3, there are 3 terms involved in this example. So it only means that there are 3 expressions na kukuhanan natin ng prime factors. So kukuhanan natin ng prime factors si 36x squared y, kukuhanan natin ng prime factor si 45xy squared, and then kukuhanin din natin ang prime factors ni 27xy. Let's start with prime factors of 36x squared y. So sabi natin prime factors, dapat yung dun sa mga numbers, ang mga factors na gagamitin natin ay puro prime number. Madali lang kasi mag-factor ng variables eh. Magdidepende lang tayo dun sa exponent niya. So on the first example, on the first expression, the prime factors of 36x squared y will be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So lahat po yan, yung apat na yan, na numero na yan, ay mga prime numbers. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, times 3 is 36. So gumamit lang tayo ng prime factorization nung elementary tayo. X squared meaning twice i-multiply si x. So that's x times x. And then copy y. Kasi isa lang naman yung y. Next is getting the prime factors of 45xy squared. And the prime factors of 45xy squared will be 3 times 3 times 5 times x times y times y. Let's try to scrutinize. 45. Sir, bakit di na lang 9 times 5? Oh, sabi natin kanina, it should be prime numbers, prime factors. So yung 9 times 5, yung 9, pwede mo pang gawing 3 times 3. O, di prime na yung 9. Ginawa na natin, karoon na tayo ng mga prime factors. Kasi na-factor pa yung 9 eh. So 3 times 3 times 5 times x, kasi isa lang naman yung x na yan, times y, because y squared meaning to say, twice, i-multiply si y. And then lastly, we will get the prime factors of 27xy. So that is 3 times 3 times 3 times x times y. So 27 po, yan ay 3 times 3 times 3. Bakit hindi lang, sir, 9 times 3? Si 9 ay pwede pang i-factor as prime, dalawang prime. So that's 3 times 3. O, kopya yung isang 3 para kompleto ng 27. X times y, yung xy natin is just the same as x times y. So yan po yung unang proseso na ginawa natin dun sa una at pangalawang halimbawa natin. Ang next nating ginagawa, kung natatandaan niyo po sa una at pangalawang halimbawa natin, una, tinutukoy natin, sa pangalawang proseso, tinutukoy natin yung mga common factors sa bawat expression. Nung nilista natin yung mga prime factors nila, ito yon, aalamin natin yung mga common factor, yung mga pagkakapareho nila, and then we will take them as one. Ano po yun? Yan. Isang 3 na agad yan. Ito, another 3. At isang X. Meron pa. Isang Y. So, isang 3, isang 3, isang X, isang Y. Lahat ng mga na-mark natin na common factors, we will take them as one value separately, tapos multiply natin. So, 3 times 3, it's 9, times X times Y. That will give us a GCF of 9XY. So, nakuha na natin yung common monomial factor o yung greatest common factor nitong polynomial na ito. Ano ang sunod nating proseso? Sa third step natin, bawat isang expression na involved sa polynomial na ito ay i-divide sa kung ano ang ating nakuhang GCF or common monomial factor. The first expression involved in this polynomial is 36x squared y. We will divide this particular expression to our GCF, which is 9xy. It's basically 36 divided by 9, x squared divided by x, y divided by y. And that will give us 4x. Ulitin natin. 36 divided by 9, that will give us 4. X squared divided by x, just basically 2 minus 1. Kasi as we divide in the laws of exponents, same base pero magkaiba ng exponent, we tend to get the difference of the given exponents. So kaya may isa pa tayong x dito. Y divided by y, we cancel it. Kasi same term lang naman. So 36x squared y divided by 9xy, the quotient is 4x. The next expression na i-divide natin sa GCF ay si 45x squared xy squared, I should say. I-divide natin kay 9xy. So it's basically 45 divided by 9, x divided by x, y squared divided by y. And the answer for that is 5y. How did we come up with an answer of 5y? 45 divided by 9, that's 5. Since x divided by x is just the same term or expression, so we just canceled it. Y squared divided by y, that's 2 minus 1 in the concept of the laws of exponents, so that is y. Same lang din po yung kanina nung in-apply natin proseso dito sa x squared over x. Dito kasi y squared over y lang. Kaya, 45xy squared divided by 9xy will give us a quotient of 5y. And the last expression na involved kanina, dun sa original, ay negative 27xy. I-divide sa ating GCF. So that's negative 27 divided by 9, x divided by x, y divided by y. And that will give us negative 3. So it's basically negative 27 divided by 9, that's negative 3. Tandaan si division of integers. Pag nagde-divide ng dalawang integers na magkaiba ang sign, ang sagot po natin ay negative. So x divided by x, y divided by y, cancel dyan lahat kasi pare-pareho lang naman. Therefore, after nating makuha ang GCF at na-divide ang bawat expression na ito sa kung ano ang ating GCF, our final answer now will be 36x squared y plus 45xy squared minus 27xy is equal to 9xy, which happens to be our GCF, multiplied to 4x plus 5y minus 3. Ito na po ngayon yung factors ng ating polynomial na given sa example number 3. So that is how we factor polynomials using the concept of common monomial factor. Naway marami kayo natutuhan para sa ating session ngayong araw na ito. Again, I am Mr. Jonathan P. Roman, a grade 8 mathematics teacher from Ilaya Barangka Integrated School. Again, have a good day.